From the Ugly Parrot Studios in Newcastle, California, the Luma Cigar Cartel presents Beyond the Humidor, a cigar podcast for the rest of us. Hey everybody, welcome back. Scott Robinson with you for another episode of Beyond the Humidor as we ever creep so slowly and slowly to episode 100.
That really is a great milestone, but we gave Gorilla free control over episode 100. I'm slightly terrified.
You should be. I'm thinking greatest hits / highlights.
Ah.
So will we even do a live quote unquote show for that?
Porque no los dos. Do 100th show, and there will be a bonus. Camera Gorilla makes fun of you three via video editing. Video.
Okay. Okay.
All right. You're just like, fuck it, I don't care.
He's got so much material to work with, you know. I mean, what could possibly go wrong with this fucking idea?
The choices. Hey, how's it going there, Gorilla?
Gorilla's okay.
Gorilla's just okay?
Yeah.
Gorilla had to get up on like a regular white person's hours this morning. He's having a little bit of a fallback period at this point, I believe.
Let us define what is regular white person hours. This is a curious
before
thing.
Noon.
Oh shit.
So
Sure, let's go with that.
Nice. Hey Larry, how you doing?
I'm doing all right, man. Getting the week started off. So we're trying out a couple of new things. The first time for us here on the podcast this week. So looking forward to getting opinions on what we're drinking and smoking.
Oh yeah. Hey Gorilla, did you notice that how, and this is your father, he was happy and upbeat. You sound sad in the Gorilla enclosure. We need to get this fool some help.
You want some whiskey?
No.
Okay.
Hey Greg, how you doing?
Doing okay. Got a nice cigar here provided by our good friend Bob Bilesma. Getting around to smoking it on the show for him, and it's a good Monday. I have been asked to read a statement.
Oh God.
Our eagle-eyed viewers will notice that Bucky is not here. Due to his support of the screenwriters' strike, he will no longer be appearing on camera until the strike is resolved. End of statement.
Really?
It could have been worse. I thought about doing a whole union and producer thing.
But Bucky wants the Bucky's employees to unionize? What?
Yes, I thought about going that route too, but I thought the writer's strike would be, whatever. So the joke fell flat. What am I going to do?
We're used to it.
Mm-hmm. So, interesting conversation on the ride over here, if I may, for a minute. Our number one fan and I were talking. And as some of our listeners will know, our number one fan is undergoing cancer treatment. As of the date of this recording, it's been 3 weeks since he has had a stick. When this show actually airs, it will be a full 5 weeks. What do you guys think? Could you handle 5 weeks with no cigar?
Shit, I couldn't handle one.
My record since starting smoking is 8
weeks.
Yep.
That's Camp Winton. That doesn't count.
Actually,
What do you mean it doesn't count?
Because you can sneak away and smoke.
and what kind of example would that set for the young people, Gregory?
How are they going to know if it's at night when they're all asleep?
Mr. Camp Counselor, what's that red glow that appears and disappears?
A
out
cigar
there in
is
the
not
woods?
worth getting blacklisted from an organization I like being a part of.
Oh, you shouldn't be on this show then.
This is outside of my paid or volunteer time with the program. While I'm on camp property, on the other hand, drawing a paycheck is different.
Interesting concept.
So, Mr. Robinson, how's your week going?
Not too bad, not too bad. Just another week and another buck.
Really?
How'd you make a whole $1? Jesus.
Is that nice?
You a sign spinner now?
Shoe shine.
Why I gotta be shoe shining?
Dome shining.
You know why.
I can't argue with him. I just can't.
I mean, look who his father is, for Christ's sake.
Nah, just spending my ever dwindling severance package and unemployment. So as it dwindles down to nothing and I start looking forward to cardboard box furniture. We should have a telethon, actually. I think that's what the 100th episode. Yeah, that's what the 100th episode should be. We do a telethon.
Send your money to the Lord. Here's our address.
Mr. Robinson needs a new rig. Let's buy him a brand new tiffin.
See, I was thinking about shit like food, mortgage payment. Sweet of you to say another rig. I may wind up living in that.
It's okay. Larry, find out what his house payment is and charge him triple for living on the property. I know I got to consult the wife on that.
Yeah, I was going to say, you're talking to the wrong member of that family. No, what the fuck you're thinking?
Nah,
Jesus.
I'm not that bad off yet. So if people were pulling out, their wallets, relax. I'm okay.
You assume they're going to pull out their wallets.
Yeah. Right now, just some spare change to help a brother out.
Pardon me, sir. Can you help a fellow American who's down on his luck?
No.
You don't fucking remember that?
No.
Bugs Bunny? The penguin?
Yes.
There you go.
I'm once again asking for your financial support. No? No, Bernie?
Oh, I thought it was Ross Perot. I remembered he ain't old enough to know who Ross Perot is.
I thought it was
I am.
JFK. Yeah, well.
Why, did he stutter?
Just for that, I'm going to green screen a tiny Bernie Sanders sitting in a chair on the table for the whole episode.
Oh, that'd be awesome.
In his sweater and his mittens? Dick.
With that look of disdainful hatred on his face.
What you ought to do is you ought to green screen a little stairwell to Air Force One up the side of the table and have Joe Biden fall up it 3 or 4 times. I love when we get too political on the opposite side of the
So let's talk
on the opposite side of the gorilla's fence.
Can we just... I don't care. They all suck. They're all pieces of shit. They're all too old. They're all too senile. Death to the bourgeoisie. Vive la revolution.
The guillotine came out of that statement.
Yeah.
So Larry,
And this will be the last episode.
Larry, what's this lovely liquor that we're talking about this week?
We got a couple of different things that came down from Rogue Brewing and Distillery now in Newport, Oregon. This is their Dead Guy line. It's what they founded the brewery on with their Dead Guy Ale. And there's a whole line of Dead Guy beers. Now they also have a craft distillery. What we're currently drinking is their single malt American whiskey. And we also, that would be the lighter bottle. If you're looking at this watching us on YouTube. And then the darker bottle is a stout barrel-aged whiskey. So...
Very Vanna White of you.
Why, thank you.
White's just a coincidence, man. Don't take it. So...
Always trying to keep the black man down, aren't you?
Wasn't me, man. Drinking fountains over there, though. Edit something right here, would you please? Thank you.
Hippo break.
Pocket sand. Yeah.
So we brought these back from the 4th of July trip up to Oregon. Really, some really nice stuff they have up there. I've been to Rogue before, but they weren't distilling the last time I was there. So they offered a flight of their, they have 4 bourbons, and these 2 were the best of the 4. The other 2 were not bad at all, but I was really happy with these. And we'll finish up this, the classic American whiskey there and try the other one and see what you think. But so far, Scott and I are both pretty happy.
Yeah, this is good. Usually I like a little splash of water with mine, but you don't even need it with this.
I agree. I don't think you need it.
No.
Let's see here. They got a real cool top to them too.
I was just about to say the top is badass.
All right, let's see. Rogue, our American single malt whiskey finished in a hand coopered barrels. They also make their own barrels up there.
Wow.
That previously aged Rogue's Rolling Thunder Imperial Stout. So, yeah, these are both really nice. If you get up to Central Coast of Oregon, Rogue is definitely worth a stop.
Oh,
so
hell yeah.
right there on the bay. Mm-hmm. They have a restaurant and bar. They do tours, but you have to have an appointment. It's a pretty cool shop. It's a pretty cool place to shop and hang out and drink. So,
Okay.
Greg mentioned earlier that our buddy Bob, Railroad Bob, as he's affectionately known, provided the cigars that we're smoking today. And I believe Gregory's got a little bit of information up on these Room 101 cigars, which is kind of a coincidence. I didn't realize that that's what you were bringing was Room 101s.
I honestly didn't realize it either until I went to look at the label to figure out what they were, and I'm like, oh.
Because I started my morning with a Room 101 Maduro from the latest release in the ones I picked up from Stogies of Lodi.
I was going to ask you, how was that one?
Honestly, I've liked every one of those cigars. I think I got 9 different cigars. I bought 20 total, but there were 9 different ones. And that's the 5th one that I've smoked. And I've liked every one of them.
Right.
They're very well constructed and very nice from the Connecticut all the way up through. I've just been really impressed with them. So I look forward to picking up some more of those. And I have the Maduro here in this No Mercy. That's not the name of the cigar, though, is it?
It's the Room 101. I'm probably going to mispronounce this. It's Teufel, Teufel Hund, No Mercy. That's what the cigars are called. There's a Maduro, Connecticut, and a Habano. And your Maduro, let me go back to the other page here. Toothy dark Pennsylvania broadleaf Maduro wrapper around a San Andreas binder and secret filler recipe.
Well, the San Andreas broadleaf, I'm getting where I can definitely tell a Maduro that has that San Andreas broadleaf. It's just a little bit different flavor, a little bit different burn. I seem to get a better draw regardless of the ring gauge of the cigar. I seem to get more smoke with just a standard cut with that type of cigar. Really happy with the flavor on this. The construction on this one particular is giving me a little bit of trouble. I don't think I cut too far into it, but I'm starting to get a little bit of a unwrap.
The cap popped.
At the cap, and I'm getting a little bit of unwrap at the foot as it burns. I think I've burned through most of that. But
I noticed mine was unwrapping a little bit at the foot too, and mine seemed a little. And I want to say this ahead of time. You know, these were given to me to hold on to for the show over a year ago at least. They've been in my humidor. And I can't say I've over-humidified them because you've both smoked out of the same humidor that these came out of.
Yeah.
So it could be a construction thing. It could not. I'm not sure. But mine was a little spongy. So,
yeah, a little bit.
Well, I don't know. I guess I'm the lucky duck because this thing looks like it's constructed beautifully. I don't have the issues you guys are having, and feels pretty good.
Now you have the Habano.
Yes, I have.
So
the
you
Habano.
have. Actually, you're better at reading this because you read it so well.
Ouch.
You should read it with your fighting cock voice. For those of you that remember that episode.
Oh, where I couldn't get through it because I was laughing so fucking hard. Well, let's give it a go. I didn't think I'd have to go through this, but okay. Room 101 Teufel Hund, Habano Gordo Extra. Gorgeous letterly Habano wrapper around a Pennsylvania broadleaf binder and a secret filler recipe. Smoked smooth with notes of cedar and raisin. Just a little spice on the finish. Medium bodied.
Slightly creepy, but very nice. Would you agree with that? What do you think?
Yeah, I think it's super creepy. I'm sorry. We were talking about the cigar.
That works too, Larry.
Yeah, this says on this Maduro says it's medium to full, and I read that and I was like, because the wrapper is pretty dark.
Yeah.
But I would have to agree with that. It's definitely, I would say, closer to medium than it is to full.
Well, that was for the Habano.
No, they all say that.
Oh, really?
Yeah, the only one that doesn't is my Connecticut.
Okay. Well, no. Well, yeah, Connecticut. No.
Mild to medium.
Mild to medium. Yeah.
Medium body. Excuse me. Medium bodied for the Habano. Pardon me.
All right.
Medium to full for the Maduro. Apparently not.
One sip of whiskey. Remember that, folks.
One little sip.
A wee dram, as they call it.
A wee dram. That was an eyedropper dram, is what that was. So, I, of course, am smoking the Connecticut.
When the hell did we devolve into the BBC?
When we agreed to start this podcast, you knew what you were getting into.
Jesus.
So, mine is a Connecticut Ecuadorian grown seed wrapper, Habano binder, and again, secret filler recipe. They're not telling us what the secret is. The tasting notes they're providing here are creamy characters that build and flavor as it burns, coffee and cream chocolate. And no, it is a good Connecticut, and it's exactly what I would expect from Room 101 in terms of construction and everything like that. I unfortunately have moved away from the Connecticut wrapper leaf, so for me, it's tasty, but it's very light. I would be happier smoking one of the other two, but
You'd be happy with the Habano.
and probably the Maduro too at this point.
Yeah.
But yeah, I do like the cigar. The construction's fairly good. I popped my cap. It hasn't exploded yet, but the flavor's good. The smoke's going well. I'm about a third of the way through this stick, and for someone who is like when I started smoking, you want a nice creamy Connecticut to get started into smoking. This would be ideal if you can find it, because it is one of the Room 101 custom. Therefore, it was probably an extremely limited run.
Okay.
But no, I mean, all in all, I would be happy putting a new smoker into this. I would be happy putting an experienced smoker that said, hey, I want something light to go with a nice cup of coffee in the morning. This would work great too.
Okay. A little bit off the beaten track when you were speaking of the cap. Curious question. This is for everybody. When you use your magic cutter thingy here, when you cut, do you just take the cigar and just cut it like so?
Yes, for me, it's I get it in the position that I want and quickly shut it. I have found, not so much on this particular cutter because that's brand new. I've only had this for a couple weeks, but on my other ones, like you and I have, the single cap cutters, those are they dull as they get older.
Oh yeah, I've got
So,
a bunch of dull ones.
If you close your cutter slowly, that's when I find I pop the cap more often, versus when I just pop that cutter and do it real quickly, I don't tend to bust the cap.
Well, I've adopted, excuse me, I've adopted this new thing, and where I found it was I was looking at some PCA videos on Insta, and Ellie Blue had a short little clip, cat walking along the beach, setting the scene and whatnot, and when he used this cutter, what he did was, instead of just straight cutting it, he puts it, along the edges and then just rotates it slightly before he does the actual cut. And I'm finding
Scores the leaf a little bit.
right.
I've seen people do that.
You know what? It really works if you got it. Like I have like a whole bunch of dull freaking cutters at this point, and I've done that, and I found that I'm not.
Go ahead, stick your finger in it. We'll watch.
I'll stick your finger in it.
Nah, too big.
Anyway, yeah, just bring it around and then just score around it and then do the cut. So it kind of starts it off a little bit, and you're not like squeezing, or take a chance of taking out more than the cap, or it's just a nice clean cut.
It's a good thought.
Yeah. So I kind of adopted
He's not going to
that.
do it, but it's a good thought.
Yeah, I know.
Maybe.
That's for you folks out there.
Yeah, don't listen to us. We don't know shit.
Gorilla, what are you partaking of this fine afternoon?
Greg put a crowbar in his many humidors and graciously gave me one of the 8,000 to 10,000 last czars he has.
Don't you mean crippling cigar addiction?
Yes, that. Yeah. What can I say? Watch literally any of the last 30 episodes, and you'll probably hear something about the last czar.
Oh,
Like,
There's a whole
there's
episode
a whole
dedicated
episode
to it.
dedicated to it. It's good.
Yeah. Not like I don't have 40 plus boxes of them at this point. Oh, that's another thing. So on this rather randomly timed show here, as Gorilla talked about last week, I have a crippling cigar addiction. That addiction includes cigarbid.com.
Oh,
I warned all you fools about this. If you are a regular listener, I warned you.
So I am happy to say that in the last 5 weeks, I have looked at it, I have bid, but I have not won a damn thing. It's been interesting to watch the evolution of Cigar Bid since I started using it over the last, shall we say, year. I typically have a strategy when I go on there, and I look at what the MSRP is. If I can get the single bundle box, whatever, for half of MSRP or less, I'm doing pretty good, and I'm going to go for it. Recently, I've been setting my bids at half MSRP and constantly getting outbid. It's been amazing to watch what people are doing there. And, yes, you can get some really good deals. It's very mainstream typically, but it's just been interesting to see that people are really going after it, and the deals haven't been so good because of the bidding wars that people are getting into.
Yeah, we talked about this. Some of those bidding wars get to the point of ego because they're just like, I'm not going to lose out on this deal, quote unquote, and they wind up paying close to MSRP. Now, I get it if it's one of the more sought-after cigars or a limited run and such. But,
True.
you're paying full price for a white owl. You're a dumbass.
He's not wrong.
True. Like, let me see. I have a bid open for an accessory, but I don't know if I've been outbid yet.
All right, I think I'm ready for that, Larry.
I want to
Thank you,
taste
kind
that
sir.
too. Please.
Okay. Remember, you got to drive home.
Uh-huh.
Excuse me.
That's got such a different taste. The first one, the regular one, is definitely Scotch or single malt, whatever they want to call it. The bourbon barrel or the stout barreled one, it has a richer flavor. It's sweeter, and it's got
It's the same whiskey, just barreled.
yeah, it's almost got like a brown sugar note to it.
Isn't that different?
Smoke. Much smokier.
Yeah. Just mellows it out a whole bunch.
Yeah, but there's this wave of smokiness that comes up from top of the gums and kind of goes up
Yep.
through here.
I gotta say though,
Nice.
both those whiskeys are pairing great with the stick.
Yeah,
Oh
they
yeah.
are.
No, even yeah.
Stout cask, you say?
Mm-hmm.
Very, very nice.
Yeah, we were super impressed.
Okay.
So
Pretty sweet.
we I think we did 5 different breweries up there. It was a good trip. Ran across some great stuff.
Yeah.
Had some good food. It was decent. So I brought Scott and the Gorilla up to speed on newsworthy event that I don't think Greg was here yet for. So just trolling around Yahoo News today. Gentleman from California arrested over the weekend for boating while intoxicated at 11:55 Saturday evening. Their boat left the river on the large channel of Lake of the Ozarks, Missouri, and they ran aground, which technically not exactly ran aground. They launched the boat into midair and collided with a house along the river.
Holy shit, man.
I don't know how, but nobody got killed. There were 8 people on this boat. It totaled the boat, ejected all 8 people. 6 people severely injured. And the picture of this house looks like it got hit by a mortar, man. I mean, it's the whole corner of the house, the roof, the gutter, the fascia. It tore brick off the lower portion of the house. I mean, this thing is hammered. Like, how fast were you going in a speedboat that you went up the lawn, got air, and hit somebody's house?
Well, you got to think about it. When they say 6 critical, I mean, you might be talking about some seriously debilitating injuries. Like, you ain't going to work no more.
Yeah. So,
or do much else.
That's our that files into our stupid people doing stupid things events there.
Yeah.
Just a newsworthy fact I thought would mention. 8 people injured in boating accident when collided with house. That's not something you see in the headlines every day.
No. Let me get into my email here. So this story came out today. And for those of you that are wondering, today would be the 24th of July. So about a month and a half, 2 months, maybe 3 months ago, we talked on the program about the new rules that the FDA is putting in place. More specifically, the TPMP rules, which stands for Tobacco Product Manufacturing Practice Rules. PCA has today gone to the ombudsman for the FDA to ask for a review of the regulatory actions against premium cigars. In a previous victory, it has been determined that the deeming rules were a problem that they've been trying to put in for so many years. Well, the FDA, in their infinite wisdom, just continues to push forward on this. And, the PCA, or Premium Cigar Association, has been fighting it and continues to fight for the retailer and the consumer. And if you're not paying attention to them, you really should. In our case, as members, we get the direct press releases. But basically what they're asking the ombudsman to do is to review these actions and apply them to the deeming rule that the judge pretty much threw out. Because, as they say, it will create problems for the cigar industry, because you're talking about a product that is handmade, and they're not exactly handmade in the normal conditions that we're used to. But this is a quote from Josh Habersky. We've talked to him on the program. See that episode if you would like to. The FDA is writing as many regulations as quickly as possible, knowing that the agency lost the court case originally. PCA's head of government affairs, of course, is Josh Habersky. He continues to go on to say these rules should not apply to premium cigars, and the FDA needs to acknowledge that explicitly, given the backdrop of the court victories by cigar trade groups. Basically, it's get your shit and get out of our business, which I frankly wholeheartedly agree, because you can't take a product that is nothing like a cigarette, nothing like a vape, nothing like any of the other tobacco products out there, and apply the same rules to it. It just doesn't work.
Well, yeah, we've been through this. I mean, there are no chemical additives to the cigar. It is just tobacco. That's it.
Yeah, and we'll post. I will make sure to get this article. In fact, I'm going to do it right now because if I don't, I'll forget. Gorilla can post the article in the notes for the show at the end. That way, you guys can read it because it's a fairly interesting article. And again, you know, I know you that listen to the program are typically the consumer. Go to PCA's website, look at their consumer advocacy group, and help out. Whether it's you know, talking about it at your local events or talking to your state senator or your state legislature, and then at the federal level, the same thing. Make our small little voices heard because we're the only ones standing up for ourselves.
Good point.
That's all I got.
Outstanding. So tell me, gentlemen, as you are smoking down this wonderful Room 101, what are your impressions as you are getting closer and closer to the nub?
Cigars holding together pretty well, even though the initial issues that I had. Really enjoying this. Very smooth for a Maduro. Little bit of pepper spice, very little. Real earthy, kind of a dark, earthy note to it. But this would be another one that I'd categorize that if you're not a big Maduro smoker, or you don't want something that's just going to punch you in the face, this is pretty mild for a Maduro. You get a lot of that flavor that you would be expecting, but just not the power that some of them have that'll just kind of set you back. I had a kind of an average lunch today, so it's been a little while since I've eaten, and that doesn't seem to be a problem at all. This thing is it's really nice. I've been really happy with the Room 101 stuff I've smoked of late.
Well, yeah, it's kind of weird. Math Booth and Room 101 have been around for a while, but it's one of those I've just never, even thought about trying. It's like, yeah, sure, it's there, but then I'm usually running to an Illusion or an Apostate or something like that, and just never thought about it. And then you gave me one for my birthday / retirement / ouster. And, I sat back on the balcony and tried it one day, and I'm like, holy shit, man.
Yeah, that was the 13th anniversary.
Oh, man. That's badass.
I think that's the best one of the cigars that I've had. Like I said earlier, I've smoked. This is probably the 7th or 8th different Room 101 that I've smoked. And they were talking about that 13th anniversary pretty heavily. At the Room 101 event I went to down at Stogie's in Lodi, and they had to go around and get some boxes from some retailers to have some for the events that they were coming out with. And I'm like, how limited is this? And they're like, it's fairly limited,
Wow.
And I'm like, okay, well, let me go ahead. I'd already picked up like 3. I'm like, let me get 5 more of those. So I'm glad I did, because really great cigars. I think I have one left. I gave one to you, Scott, and I gave one to my buddy Chris.
Yeah.
But just great cigars. Happy to see that they're. You seem to see them out a little more.
Yeah.
Regularly, they have them in Lodi. They had them up in. We saw the cigar guy when we were at the Cajun Festival out in Amador County. One of the things he brought out was a Room 101. So yeah, it's nice to see this stuff getting a little more mainstream. A little easier to find. That's good for everybody.
Yeah, it is. Speaking of, at Tobacco Republic, they have the CLE line now.
Yes, they do. I heard the Siam 13 as well.
Yes. Oh, yeah.
Large ring gauges?
Yes.
80s?
I don't think it's that. I don't think it's that large one.
Okay.
No. But they got a couple of big boys there. They're
Cool.
good stuff.
That's a line that I think that, on top of, Matt Booth and Room 101 being such a fantastic line to try out, the CLE and Asylum lines, that's another one that just, none of them disappoint. I've had a bunch of them. We picked up some when we were in Folsom last week. It's just an excellent line. I smoked the Corojo yesterday. Wes smoked the Habano. Thoroughly enjoyable. So it's the market is, I think it's one of the best times to be a cigar smoker right now because you have so many high quality brands out there producing so many great lines that you're spoiled for choice.
Oh,
Yeah, no, 100%. When's this episode's not going to come out until when?
2 weeks.
No, 2 weeks. I think
2 weeks.
Okay, yeah, you're right.
We just released one yesterday
Okay, well,
where we talked about the homebrew.
Yeah, you're right. Okay.
Well, it won't be in time, but I don't know if you guys saw the email from Stogies. They're doing an event, a private event in their lounge for lounge members. Basically handing out the stuff that they brought back from PCA.
When is
and
this?
smoking August 4th.
I'm all over it.
I think we might have to,
I am not going to be available August 4th. I have another commitment, but I wanted to make sure you guys knew about that. I saw an email. I think the email came through on Friday or Saturday. I think it's 5 to 8 if I can look, but yeah, that's if you're in the Northern California, Sacramento area and you haven't been to Stogie's, the Lodi, you need to check it out. Nice beer and wine bar. They got I think they got 10, 12 beers on tap. And then a decent selection of cigars, nice cross section of both boutique and mainline industry brands. Really nice lounge, just a really great place. There's some great food right there in the neighborhood. Yeah, it's really cool experience. If you get a chance, go by and see them.
Speaking of which, where are we going this week? If
I don't
we're
know.
Anywhere.
I'm not. I'm going to be gone
He's
for
going-
Thursday.
He's
so
he's going to Idaho.
stay tuned for that story. But I like Stogie's has one of my favorite new brands that I got a sample of last year at PCA, and I think you guys have all smoked one. I know Gorilla has, and Gorilla enjoys them. The Big Sky Cigar Company.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
no, those are nice.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
Been there, done that. Good stuff.
Yeah, they have a. Is it a Sumatra, or is it a Habano?
It's a Habano.
Yeah, they have a Habano that's really nice.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And they're Yellowstone, Connecticut. The flavor is amazing.
Yes.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, a lot. That's another one of those cigars that'll fool you when you look at it, because it is super light in color, even for a Connecticut. And you're like, I picked one up because I wanted to grab one of the whole line. They had 4 different ones, I think.
Four different ones as of
And
last year.
and I'm like, yeah, we'll try one of each,
Right.
And just looking at the bag later, like the next day or a couple days after I got home, I'm like, I probably shouldn't have got that Connecticut. That's going to be too light for me.
Nope.
And no, the flavor was just spectacular.
Yeah.
With that. So,
Real tasty.
again, don't let the looks of something deceive you. I've been pleasantly surprised quite a few times in the last year or two with, like Greg said, there's so many nice cigars, some great manufacturers putting stuff out that, I mean, try it. And if it's not in your wheelhouse, don't be afraid to put it down in the ashtray and light something else.
Right.
But I would rather do that than miss out on something because it was a short run or, just.
Yeah, and I think that's a good philosophy, Larry, because there's a lot of stuff that's coming out now that is short runs. And if you don't get them and you don't try it, you're never going to know. Cavalier put one out that was a 200-box run.
Mm-hmm.
And the cigar is, quite frankly, amazing, which is exactly what I would expect from them.
I think we're going to see more of that. just from an economic standpoint as a boutique manufacturer, because we've talked about this before. This is a live product,
Right.
And if you've only got X number of dollars to spend, you buy this much tobacco, and next year that tobacco is going to be different. You might be able to get close to the same blend.
Yeah.
And I don't care who you are. If you've been smoking cigars for a while, if you're honest and you're giving us a honest representation, if you smoke the same cigar day in and day out, or the same brand day in and day out, if you've been smoking 10, 12, 15 plus years, you can't look me in the face and tell me that cigar hasn't varied over the years. It absolutely has to, because it's a live product.
Yeah.
So I think that the shorter run stuff that a lot of these manufacturers are putting out, I think it's a stellar idea from an economic standpoint, from a marketing standpoint. And if by chance you just miss the mark altogether, then you're not stuck with 2.5 million
Sorry about
boxes.
that, Greg.
Yeah, that's all right. That was sharp when he started. You're not stuck with 2.2 million boxes of these things. You did 2,500, 1,000, 250, whatever.
Yeah, but you come with the great irony, because sure enough, your limited run 200, 400, even 1,000 boxes, and everyone goes berserk, and then poof, it's gone.
Well,
Yeah, okay.
so
Okay, that's true. But once again, on the monetary factor and the availability of the ingredients to make that cigar, let's take those factors out.
Yeah. Okay.
You did 1,000 box run that was phenomenal. Everybody loved it. You're out. Okay, if you would have been able to produce 2,500 boxes, you would have eventually ran out. 10,000 boxes, you would eventually ran out. Okay, you did that 1,000 boxes. Everybody loved it. How big is the hype for the next cigar you put out?
absolutely, and that I think brings
Good
up
point,
a
good
a
point.
thought.
The momentum drives itself.
Yeah.
If you can do short run and string 2 or 3 just excellent cigars together, the momentum that's driven by that carries you so far. We have a prime example of that, and all 4 of us love their cigars. Is Apostate.
Yeah.
Apostate they have 6 out now, right? They
6
came
out
with
now.
Yes.
And where's our new Apostate cigars, man? I mean, I understand we didn't make it to PCA, but I mean, we know people. What's going on here? But they are the textbook definition of what I'm talking about. They have come out with product after product after product. Their first 4 cigars, every one of them are phenomenal cigars. And I don't care if you don't like that particular type of tobacco. They offer a Candela, which a lot of people A, haven't tried, or B, not real up
And
on.
they need to fucking try it, because I know some people have said the early Candelas, long clippy.
Yeah, they were rough. But even if a Candela is not in your wheelhouse, you need to try this cigar, because it's different than any other Candela you've smoked.
You're talking about the Deseret, right?
Deseret.
Yes.
No.
I thought it was the Deseret,
no,
the honeybee.
No.
The Candela?
The Candela
The Candela is
the
the feathered serpent.
serpent.
Okay, thank you.
Even if you are not a Candela person at all, you should try one of these just for a baseline, because it's a fantastically constructed, fantastically blended cigar, and you're going to get that appreciation is going to come through, even if Candela is not necessarily in your wheelhouse. I think that 7 out of 10 people that smoke one of those, even if they've had an early Candela from 10 or 12 years ago that they hated, they couldn't stand, and I've had 3 or 4 of them. I mean, back in the day, early 2000s, Christ, there was some stuff coming out Candela-wise that was terrible. I'm like, why in the hell do they keep pushing this? But I think we could convert 70% with that cigar. I think it's that good.
I agree. You know, and everybody on the show, and you guys know, I'm not a Candela fan. Theirs is something special because it doesn't, whatever they've done, I don't know what their process is, and that cigar was not out when we had them on the program the last time. So, Brandon, we need another appointment. There's something about the way they've blended and done that Connecticut that doesn't make it, like you were saying, it doesn't taste like a fresh cut lawn.
Mm-mm.
And I think part of it is I believe it's either a Corojo or a Cameroon Candela. I can't remember which.
And I've had that straight out first thing in the morning, right as I'm up. No meal, no coffee, just smoking that thing. I've had it with coffee. I've had it after dinner, drinking beer, drinking whiskey, drinking rum. I have not found anything that cigar doesn't pair with. Just a really, really nice stick. And everything on that line, out of the 4 I've smoked, you know, like I said, we got 2 new ones to try, but every one of those, the Deseret is amazing.
Yeah. Deseret is crazy.
So, yeah, and that's another one, guys. If you've come across, if you've seen those on the shelf at your brick and mortar and you haven't tried one yet, wherever you're at in your cigar journey, mild, medium, full, whatever,
You are missing out.
just grab one. It don't matter which one. You're going to be happy with whichever one you pick up.
My suggestion, though, if you are open to suggestion, I would say start out with the Initiatory. I think that's a good starter. If you're just lost and just can't make a decision, I would say start out with the Initiatory, and then after that, go to the Deseret.
Yep.
And see, I think I disagree. I think it's just the opposite for me, but that's each preference, you know.
Well, yeah, but who asked you? No, I'm
Oh!
playing. I'm playing.
I know.
I'm fucking with you.
That's okay. I got a better palate than you do anyway.
The Leahona.
Oh, beautiful Connecticut.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That I smoked all those that I had, and I'd thrown 1 or 2 in the mix here and there, and then I fired up one on a Saturday afternoon. We were barbecuing at the house, and I'd made some cocktails from a recipe that I borrowed from the gastropub down the road here at Loomis Basin.
Right.
It was kind of a rum and pineapple and a couple other things. Not super sweet, but definitely that summer islandy kind of drink.
Ooh, yeah.
And I literally, in the next 10 days, smoked the rest of those Leonas that I had with that Connecticut with I don't want to say it's sweet, super fruity, but that summertime cocktail, man, that paired so well with that. It would just, I hammered through those.
All right, dude, if we go over to TR Thursday night smoke and we run by the gastropub, we have to try that shit.
Okay, now the one you got to try right now is, oh my God, am I going to forget? Watermelon Queen.
Why are you suggesting I try the watermelon?
It's just
Robinson, you just need to accept the fact that you got to try it.
Okay.
No, I'm gonna.
You remember that gin that I had you sample?
Yeah.
That's basically purple in the bottle?
That gin is badass.
Okay,
yeah.
so this drink is made with that gin, 1.5 ounces to 2 ounces of pureed watermelon, so watermelon juice, and then simple syrup and lime juice. And it is off the hook, man.
Sounds quite refreshing.
It is off the hook.
So it sounds like we're going to be having dinner over at Loomis Basin.
Shake those. They shake them and then pour them out up like a martini. They're great, man.
Yeah.
And it's one of those things where And I'm not a big gin guy. I will drink gin.
I'm not either.
But A, this gin is really good. B, these things are just like fruit juice. And you're 3 in and you're like, maybe I should slow down a little bit.
Ooh, yeah.
So,
Okay. All right. I'm looking forward to that.
Well, is it? Get up to the mic here. Is it half as good or better than the? Remember those ice drops we had at Hops and Drops last year at Rocky Mountain?
I think they're every bit as good as those.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I remember those. Okay.
Yep.
I mean, those were all right. I mean, I wasn't losing my mind over them. I mean,
Right.
They were good. They had alcohol in them, so no complaints.
So can we go back to that specialty line for just a minute? The short runs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it brings up something that I was talking with Tommy again on. And it's funny that this came up. We were talking about Sebastian and the Cavalier line with Brian Matola, and it's funny how you can tell who are some of our favorites are, since we continually go to Apostate and to Cavalier, but nonetheless, I think too that when you're talking about the hype, Larry, I think that definitely applies, because when you've got a solid core line like Apostate does, and by core line that's a cigar term, and it probably goes across the board too, but it's their standard lines that they produce every day and they produce in mass quantities. That specialty one, and like in Sebastian's case, the BMO Lancero, you get someone to try that. It's stellar and it's outstanding. You can now start suggesting out of their core line that apply to those as well, because those that have the Jalapa tobacco or have that same flavor profile. So it really brings in a way for the tobacconist to get you as the consumer into another line. If you like this special thing that they're putting out, sorry, I only got 10 boxes. That's all I got. When they're gone, they're gone. But once they're gone, I want you to look at this, this, and this out of their line.
Well, that comes back to marketing again. Some of these guys are doing a great job. There's a handful that, would benefit. I don't think anybody's doing a bad job, but there's a handful I think would benefit if they stepped up that type of marketing just a little bit. Another one that we haven't talked about in a minute that I think their marketing is off the hook, and they make some great cigars, is Sinestro.
Yes.
Absolutely.
They did they followed that kind of same path. They came out with just good stick, one after another.
Right.
And it's a self-generating production there. You tried this one, you liked it. Oh, there's another one of theirs. Oh, let me try that one. You like that. The farther you go down that road, you don't even question anymore. So Sinestro could throw something out that was purple with yellow polka dots on the tobacco, and I'm like, yeah, I'm trying it. It's Sinestro. Why not? But that's where a lot of these brands have gotten, is they've had such phenomenal sticks that you can, when you've hit the ball out of the park a few times, you can swing a little crazier,
Yeah.
And going back to that green stick, that was a bold move for your fourth cigar you're putting out, is go with a Candela. Maybe that was a little crazy, but it worked. The 3 cigars in front of it were great cigars. That fourth one's a great cigar. I would expect nothing less from the 2 that they've released this year. If they weren't super happy with that, we wouldn't have seen it hit the market. So there's this, like Greg said earlier, this is a great time to be a cigar guy, man. There's just so much good stuff out there.
No doubt.
Well, are we wrapping up? What do you think?
Yeah, I'm thinking so. Hey, final thoughts, Gorilla?
I have two notes.
Oh.
Number 1, Ethan finally got back to me. The Enigma was life-changing, as we
Now.
predicted. Secondly, homebrew update. The homebrew was transferred from its initial jug to its secondary jug with only minor catastrophes.
I heard about that.
Oh, do tell.
The auto siphon that you're supposed to use to obviously pump and siphon from one jug into the other wasn't working, and we couldn't figure out why. And then we realized, hey, wasn't there supposed to be a end cap with a one-way valve on one end of this?
It came off.
It came off in the jug. So we had to fret not. We figured it out. We primed the siphon tube with sanitizer liquid and let that drain and suck beer up. So we maybe lost a few ounces of beer into the sanitizer bucket, but we did transfer.
And that was that entire process that was just described to you was courtesy of MacGyver Gorilla here. Came up with that because his mom was ready to throw in the towel. She was having fits. I left. I'm like, I'm out of here. Good luck.
So we did suck up more of the dead yeast, the lease or sediment, whatever you want to call it, off the bottom. So we are going to have to do that process a second time before we bottle, so we don't get gritty beer. But it looks and smells fucking amazing.
Did you find the little gizmo?
Oh, yeah, the little
It was,
gizmos in there.
it was in the bottom of the first bucket like we thought. Quick question for you, Scott.
All right, fire away.
First bottle or second bottle? Which one do you like better?
Wait a minute.
The scotch.
Oh,
Whiskey.
okay.
Jackass.
We were. All right. It's hard to say. I think the first, for me, the first bottle, because it's just so damn smooth.
Yeah, but that stout barrel finish has got a unique
Right.
edge to it that I don't think I can recall ever having something like that.
Never had that. It's unique, and I would do it ever so often kind of thing. But for an everyday kind of whiskey, definitely the first one.
I don't know.
Okay.
For me, it's the stout bottle.
You like that?
I
Yeah.
do.
I'm funny. I'm kind of in the middle. I like both of them, but it depends on what you're doing.
Good point.
If you're just doing, a little bit of whiskey over a cube, I would have to go with the straight run stuff.
Would you actually put a cube in that though? 'Cause
Honestly, I probably wouldn't. Let me take.
Yeah.
I would probably put a cube in the stout.
yes, that's where I would go.
So yeah, no, that's it's interesting because both of them are really good, and I kind of wish I'd have bought a bottle of each, all four. And I'll have to look up and describe, to you later what the other two were because I don't remember off the top of my head. I drink, but yeah, it was. We were really impressed. So we will we'll be giving you more reviews on more alcohol in the future because I don't see us stopping drinking anytime soon.
Exactly. So, Gorilla, tell me, when can we expect a pretty bottle of Rusty Nut Ale to grace our table here?
It should be bottling this coming weekend.
Is it 1 week or two?
It's 1 week in the first jug, 1 week in the second jug, and then 2 weeks in the bottle to carbonate.
Okay.
So
Mid-August.
it'll be done between this episode being released and the episode after this being released, I believe.
So it sounds like the next episode is when we'll have some.
Yes.
Well, no.
98.
98, you're right, because fun fact, I was going to mention this to the audience, we are getting an episode ahead in recording, so if our current events seem less current going forward, that is the reason why.
Well, and we'll even, if we're recording, we're supposed to record next week as well. So next week's our regular recording schedule.
Episode ahead for 6 months.
Yeah, I know.
And we're doing it now.
So,
But anyway,
there will be beer at some point.
There will be beer.
That's the whole. That's all you need to know.
Well, actually, that's true. That's all kind of sort of all I need to know. I just need to know preciseness because here's a thought. And you guys can shoot me down if you'd like, if you think this is just way off. And no, that's stupid. We're not doing that. Hey, I got an open mind, but I'm thinking a few bottles of the Rusty Nut, and picture this: a nice, beautiful platter of neatly stacked cubes of barbecue deliciousness
Oh, you're finally going to do the bologna burn ends, are you?
I will murder you.
It
and
was
throw you in a
episode
ditch.
96 that Greg lost his life. Bologna burn-ins.
Why?
Hey,
Because it pisses you off and
Gorilla,
it's fun.
is there any way you could cut in the banjo music from Deliverance right there?
Always.
Or the bang, 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 bang.
No, but yeah, the beer with the pork belly burn ends. Yes.
Yes. Pork belly burn-ins. Or I could get a brisket point and properly cook that brisket point and then turn it into burn-ins. You're not laughing now, are you?
I don't laugh at anything you put in front of me to eat.
Point taken.
Although the only reservation I have is you're going to have an episode of glug, 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 glug,
Dude,
glug.
that's half the shit we put out now. What are you talking about?
True. So I know Anthony's thoughts on his cigar because we're beating a dead horse. But final thoughts
Or
on
Gorilla.
these Hunds.
I think we've said it all. This is a wonderful smoke right here.
Yeah.
No, this is
The
a great
Habano.
cigar. Thank you again,
Fantastic.
Thanks,
Thank
Bob.
You,
Bob, for thinking about us. Sorry it took
Yes.
us so long to get these into the rotation. Yeah, this I want to look these up and see if there's a possibility to get a couple more of each of these. I wouldn't mind trying both of the ones you guys are smoking. So
Oh, yeah. I gotta get my mitts on these because
if if you guys are out there cruising around and you find something that you think's noteworthy, reach out to us. Let us know what it is, where it is, where you got it. You don't necessarily have to send us something, but at least point out when you find something out there that's spectacular, whether it's local cigar place, local craft beer, local distillery, somebody's food's off the hook. I mean, tell us about it, man. We're all about supporting small business, and if it's within a couple hours, we're liable to drive our three fat asses down there and try it out.
Absolutely.
damn right.
And if it's even further than that, we got the Scotty Robinson experience.
There we go.
That's right. And on that note, hey, Gorilla, take me home. Well, all right. Cigars down to the nub, and my whiskey glass is empty, so I think it's about that time. I want to thank everybody out there for listening, and on behalf of the Gorilla, top billing Gorilla, Larry, Greg, and myself, thank you for listening. Check us out at LumisCigarCartel.com. Like and share us on Facebook. Follow us on Instagram. I've noticed we've been getting a lot of followers lately, so thank you very much. Drop us a line. Don't be a stranger. I'm Scott Robinson. On behalf of all of us here at Beyond the Humidor, I want to thank you for listening to another episode. And as I always say, good smoke, good drink, and good life. Until next time.
I know he's fading out, and I hope this makes it on here, but, much like the last drop of coffee in your cup, my scotch glass is empty is just depressing.
No, it's not, because I have more scotch.
That's true.
Just because the glass is empty doesn't mean the party's over.
That's true.
Don't be a rookie.
Cheers.